Hello, everybody. Raul Luna here from Modesto, California. Doing this webinar to the weekly. Welcome to the weekly webinar. With Raul Luna on how to invest in real estate. But today we're really going to be focusing, and I actually prepared a really nice sheet here, the 12 real estate mistakes that I have made that can make you millions. Okay, so I'm actually going to rechange the title that we had originally put out there. So it's going to be the 12 real estate mistakes that I have made that can make you millions and millions of dollars if you're paying attention. Okay, so I'm sharing it because I think that we share, most of the times we share the wins, or most of the people share the wins and share the excitement and share the things. And what I'm going to share here today is not for you to get discouraged or for you to feel that it's a negative webinar. To the contrary, I think if you were to know what not to step into, you can make millions. Understand this: one of the best deals, okay, sometimes the best deals, or one of the best deals, is the deal that you say no, or that you decide not to get in. And tell me, why is it that I say that very confidently about it? Because I know that some deals I should not have made, but I didn't pay attention. All right, so I hope that you're paying attention. I hope that if you're watching this webinar here today, or in the weekly real estate talk show with Raul Luna, that you're gonna be writing it in a notepad, and that you're really gonna take it dear to heart, because it can literally make you millions. If you don't lose them, then guess what? You could actually put them to work in a very precise, creative, and consistent way. Okay, so we're gonna get here started. So I actually wrote them down, and I'm gonna start with the very first one. All right, now for the audience that don't know me, just on a very quick short note, I've been doing the real estate investing for what, almost 2 decades now. I remember when I first started, I didn't have the age. I couldn't get nothing under my name. So I couldn't get, even though I thought I was ready and I was taking the action, obviously I wasn't at legal age to get it done. It was at 16 years of age. And then from there, I started. My very first property happened at 19, Spotted. Who would have thought that would create a big, massive movement that later on we can help people just like you, comprehend, either by empowering you, inspiring you, by, helping you obviously thriving your real estate journey, right? So it's very important to understand, if you classify yourself as an investor, as a real estate investor, or as a real estate entrepreneur, there's two different things. As a real estate investor, you're the one that basically is making it happen. Okay, as an entrepreneur, you're building teams, you're coaching teams, you're helping teams, so that they can make it happen. Okay, so it's two different things. All right. So, anyways, throughout this journey, throughout my 20 years, and I'm pretty sure there's more mistakes, but these are the ones that have hit home to me, that remain clear, obviously, of what to pay attention to whenever is it that I am doing, that I'm gonna either purchase a real estate, either partner up, or something that I'm gonna be going through in my real estate journey. And you will notice that even though every property is different, because location can never be replicated, there's gonna be things that are going to be very, very repetitive and very similar. And I've been fortunate enough of having to, deal with a lot of people, in the thousands of people around, around the U.S., around the world, that allows me, obviously, to be able to, learn how to develop a certain, reading skills, and, not only reading of books, but reading of people, and reading of habits, of answers, and things like that. So just keep in mind, real estate investing is a relationship people business. And, the more that you develop that, the stronger your business will become. Okay. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and get started. Throughout my journey, the real estate journey, my first 10 years, if I was to grab my very first 10 years, you know, my real estate journey was like this. It was like a total roller coaster. My last 10 years has been more of a, you know, upward, up, you know, a little bit up and down, because it does happen. It's never like in a super straight line, but you know, it's being very consistently upwards. And you know, I've been tracking, what is it that changed it? Why is it that my first decade I messed it up so bad, you know, that I even went bankrupt, lost, you know, everything, not only, you know, cars, houses, but even my real estate license, because I partner up with the wrong person, the wrong people. I didn't have the personal development, you know, at the time, and things of that nature. Okay, so let's get started with the very first one. And I'm going to share here my screen so that you can get to see what I'm seeing. And then that way, so that way you can get to see here. Okay, so give me a second. If I can put, you should be able to see my screen by now, but I don't know how to put some, make it bigger. Maybe to make it bigger, let me see, view. Trying to make it bigger here, guys. Hold on. Zoom, maybe zoom 200. All right, there you go. Making it bigger there. Okay, so there you go. We're gonna start with the very first one. Okay, the very first one is lack of exposure. You know, one of the biggest mistakes that I've done throughout my career, especially on my my very first 10 years, my first decade, is not having, you know, massive exposure out there. And massive exposure, I'm talking about, you know, building, you know, connections, about basically letting people know what exactly is it that I do, what is it exactly that I'm looking for, and really not making relationships out there, you know, from a point of, you know, just imagine this, and this is probably one that will relate to everybody. Majority of the people are making that mistake, that, you know, they don't have enough exposure, massive exposure, so therefore they lack exposure. And why exposure is so important? Well, it's important because, you know, at the end of the day, if this business is based on relationships, is based on great contacts, is based on, you know, on those fundamentals, well, that means, you know, it's not who you know, it's how many people also know you. See, we've always heard, oh, it's, you know, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Well, I'll tell you one thing. That's been, to me, it's being completely explained incorrectly, because it's not only about the knowledge, because it is, it's about who you know, but it's also, you know, who knows you. And the reason why I can say this is because there's been people that knows me today, you know, lately, now that we've been exposing ourselves, you know, further and further and further, there's people that they know me because they know me, even though I don't know them. Guess what? Deals happened, deals continue to happen, you know, on a much more faster, efficient way. Not only that, you know, when there's something that is not being done right, they're the very first ones to, you know, give me a shout out. You know, the other day I posted something on one of the private Facebook groups, and I guess I didn't read the rules of that group, and immediately whoever the gentleman who owns the group said, hey, listen, I'm gonna delete you if you don't remove your, you know, your message. And it wasn't a bad message. It was actually an inspirational message that I did from basically from one of my business account from Properties 180. And guess what? Someone that knew me, listen to this, someone that knew me that I don't know at a direct level reached out and said, hey, Raul, you know what? Or actually vouched for me. He told them, hey, listen, Raul is a great guy. You know, blah, blah, blah. Don't delete him. He contributes. He does. He gives. He's this. And then, you know, they were messaging themselves, and it was interesting to see how somebody else will defend you because they know you, you know, even though you don't know them. And that's very powerful, ladies and gentlemen. Lack of exposure, okay? Lack of exposure. Not only for situations like that, but for situations where you can get more deals, where you can, get great connections, relationships, where your business will grow if your, contact basis grows. And that takes me to mistake number 2, which is not expanding my contact base faster earlier in my career. Okay. That goes hand on hand with lack of exposure. Why? This business, it's a contact driven business. It's, once again, it's not about how many people you know, but how many people they know you. At least, what is it that you're doing? I never forget when I first started into the real estate world. The only people that knew that I was in real estate, it was really just my immediate family and maybe a few other people, and that was pretty much it, because I was scared on, making cold calls or knocking on doors, or, I was scared on exposure, because, we always think negatively rather than what the positives are. And don't get me wrong, a lot of exposure, there's going to be some challenges in its way as well. And, you just got to be okay with it if you're really looking to grow. Anything that comes with growth, attach challenge to it, because it's part of the environment. All right. So number 2, not expanding my contact base earlier, fast enough in my career. First decade, I didn't do that. Second decade, guess what? The contacts that I have expanded to, that I had connected with, is truly amazing, ladies and gentlemen. That's how I get my private money lenders. That's how we get partners that will join and buy bigger deals. That's how we, help each other. It's truly amazing. Even general contractors that I connected through, expanding my contact base, that now they're working on some of the projects. I mean, you bet, from lenders to insurance brokers to private money lenders to hard money lenders to people that will be there for when you have a phenomenal, great, stunning, amazing deal. And guess what? When you expand your contacts, I promise your business will grow. Okay, so second mistake, not having a big enough contact base. All right. Now, mistake number 3, having all assets and liabilities under my personal name instead of an entity. That one, I can tell you that it's what I call the personally, the $20 million mistake. Okay, if I was to put a number to it, that is the $20 million mistake. When I first started almost 20 years ago, everything, cars, houses, properties, apartment buildings, you name it, liabilities and assets, everything was under Raul Luna, which was a big mistake, a huge mistake. Because when one property had a problem, a hiccup, or one property went underwater, guess what? It affected the whole entire basket. And I learned my lesson. Okay, I learned it in the hard way. Now I'm sharing it with you because I know a lot of people who are connected in this webinar are, working directly with their personal name. And I'm not saying that is right or wrong. I'm just saying about my experience. When I went bankrupt, guess what? Everything had to go. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Ugly and bad, it's okay. They gotta go. You're not gonna win them all. There's gonna be lessons in life. There will be. Someone that tells me that they've never lost is someone that I personally wouldn't want to partner with. When someone tells me that they've never struggled, they've never got challenged, they've never crossed, through hard times, and they've never lost, bingo, I don't want to partner with you. Why? Just because I know that I don't know how you're going to react when the time does come where you lose. Okay. Now that's mistake number 3. It's probably the most expensive mistake that I have, that I have encountered in my life. Now, number 4, buying the biggest house in the block. Okay. Even though I have heard it in the past, I still made that mistake. Now, it's a mistake that you don't have to do. The mistakes that I'm sharing, ladies and gentlemen, see it as the best coaching program in life because if you don't do them, you're way ahead. If you make them, even though you heard them from me here today, then you deserve it. Then you deserve it. Okay. So, and just understand that. All right. So anyways, buying the biggest house in the block. I did that. It was a big monster, over 8,000 square feet house. And guess what? You know, since day one, since the day that I closed escrow, I knew I was going to lose. And and I'm so grateful that even though I knew that I was going to lose, I managed emotionally, spiritually, I managed to carry to carry the outcome, to carry and achieve the results that needed to be achieved, which was to complete the project how it was envisioned and get it moving forward, because we were not going to quit in the middle of the runway. Okay, so just understand that, all right? So that's mistake number 4, buying the biggest house in the block. Mistake number 5, not understanding how debt and taxes make you rich. For the longest, ladies and gentlemen, not understand, many people don't still until today, even though they're in real estate, even though we use loans, even though we pay taxes, can you imagine that? I'm going to assume that most of America does their taxes at the end of the year. Okay. I'm going to naively assume, I don't know the numbers, but I'm going to naively assume that we're in a country that that is a debt-driven country, tax-driven country. After 1971, when President Nixon took the dollar out of he took the gold out of the dollar, or the dollar out of the gold, whatever it is, but he pretty much separated the gold and the dollar. This country became a debt-driven country, which many people don't understand it yet to the highest degree possible. Guess what? When I started to understand and I started to use it, oh my God, it was a brilliance of an epiphany moment, because I shared it not too long ago with some of my very close friends that are making millions of dollars. Keep in mind this, I got friends that are making $2, $3, $4, $5, $6, $10 million, $12 million a year, okay, $1 million a month, and they still don't understand to the highest degree possible the debt and taxes, how it can make you absolutely rich, insanely rich, insanely rich. Maybe you don't. That in itself takes an entire class or weekend to explain. Why? Because debt right now is extremely cheap, the interest rate. I'm refinancing my shopping centers, and I'm getting rates right on the high 3s, low 4s. Picture this, ladies and gentlemen, high 3s, low 4s on commercial real estate. That is free money. If you understand debt, you will get more debt on great pieces of property. Taxes, the bigger you go on buildings, the better taxes, the better tax benefits that you get. And people don't get it. And see, to me, that was a big mistake, not getting it. And I'm sure there's still other things that I don't get, but understanding that, that in itself, not understanding it sooner, made me lost a lot of money. I can assure you, and I can guarantee you, straight flat out. All right. So mistake number 6, not sticking to my formula when there is one exit strategy in the deal. So in other words, it's needing the deal. Like, sometimes I've seen, especially this happens, if it happens to experienced investors, ladies and gentlemen, can you imagine if it's going to happen to new investors or new real estate agents or new real estate professionals? I remember letting my team members, my acquisition team members, when several years ago, I said, listen, you never want to need a deal. You never want to go with a mindset of needing the deal. The day that you feel that you need the deal is the day that you're going to start buying irrationally. I mean, you're not going to be rational. You're going to be buying because you need it rather than because the numbers make sense. So, it was interesting because, when I broke in that formula, my formula that I use, which is 70% of the actual renovated value minus the repair, and I will go as high as 80%, on certain instances. But keep in mind, I'm only talking about one exit strategy. I'll give you an example. If it's a house that I cannot rent, that the only exit strategy is I'm gonna have to renovate and resell. See, you gotta pay attention to this. When you're paying, for instance, let's just say as an example, let's just say my formula, it's which it is. I start at 70, then 75, the most is 80. Okay, but assume that you paid 80%, or that not that you paid 80%, but that your formula cap, or you tap out at 80, but you decide, you know what, I'm gonna do 83% because, and then you break the rule, which I have, okay? But this is only when there's one exit. The only exit is you gotta resell, period. You gotta rehab and resell, that's it. You can't rent because the rent won't cover the mortgage, or you can't, Airbnb it because it's not a good location to do Airbnb, or you can't, expand on the property because maybe it's a condo, or you can't. I mean, imagine that there's only one exit strategy, okay, for the purposes of this example, because keep in mind, one exit strategy, you broke the rule of the formula, then that's been a mistake. Why? I've done it, where now when people ask me, really, Raul, for, $5,000 or 10 grand or 15 grand, and I tell you, you know what, some of the deals, some of the best deals are the deals that I don't do. And I've seen it when somebody else loses on it, is like, oh, I listened to my, my hunch. And then there's other deals that they end up, making really good money. Guess what? We're not going to win them all. It's just the plain, it's just a fact. Okay. Now, mistake number 7, not vetting my partners thoroughly. And what I use is called the 3 C's when I'm vetting a partner. And the criteria, the criteria that I use on those 3 C's, you'll see them here on the screen, is what is it that I look on a partner on a very simplistic format. I look at more things, but very simplistic: criteria, commitment, capacity. Criteria, commitment, capacity. And you see it there right on the screen. I use a partner, when I'm partner, this is what I use, is the criteria that I use is, and I'm sorry, it's not criteria, it's character, commitment, and capacity, okay? The criteria that I use is those 3: character, commitment, and capacity. Now, what does the character tells me? It tells me if the person is high integrity, trustworthy, and if it's relationship driven, okay? What does the commitment tells me? How committed the person is in the project. Are they committed to the values? Do we share values that are similar? Are they committed to excellence, or for them it's they got too many deals and that they lose track and they lose commitment in one deal specifically? And this is true to all the partners. Now, a partner to me is not just someone that I partner on a deal where we all put money or anything. No, my employees are partners. My general contractor are partners. To me, everybody around me, that we do certain level of business together, it's a partner. My insurance broker is a partner. My escrow officer is a partner, because it's an organization that needs to work together. Now, maybe professionally, that's not the definition of partnership, but that's the way I actually put it in my context, okay? Now, character. I look at the character really highly. If that person is highly integrity, trustworthy relationship, can I trust in that person? Is it committed? Is that person committed to excellence? Do they cut corners, or what is it that they do? Capacity. Do they have the capacity to do for what they are partnering for? If I'm hiring a buying acquisition specialist, and he's going to be a partner because he's going to be here in the office, does he have or she has the capacity? If I'm partnering up with a general contractor, does he has the capacity to understand the scope of work for that specific project? So that's how I vet it. Or at the beginning, I didn't, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't. That's how I literally, lost my license, because I wasn't vetting partners the partners where we partner. Now, the real partners, and what I mean real is the joint venture partners. When I partner on a couple of businesses about 9-10 years ago, and guess what? Because I wasn't vetting them with a criteria that I have today, because I wasn't paying attention, if I liked them, I would partner up with them, and that's it. And I didn't go any further. Sometimes we partner in the first day, and I'm telling you, if you don't go through the character, commitment, capacity, you're gonna soon realize that some of the partnerships will go bad, whether it's an employee or whether it's a real partner that you're partnering in a business. Okay, in my case, plain and simple, selected incorrectly because I didn't have no system on how to vet my partners. And we may take that lightly. I don't. It cost me close to a little over $1 million making that single mistake, selecting and bringing the wrong partner by not following that criteria that I just shared right now with you guys. All right. Mistake number 8, partnering with people that don't have nothing to lose. That was a big mistake. I've done that a couple of times. As a matter of fact, two or three times. Trust me, when you partner up with people that don't have squat to lose, don't have nothing to lose, it is scary. It is the worst. Assume that when you get in trouble, they will never be there. They will run like crazy, and they will never bring the money to pay or to make up. I can tell you that from experience, a mistake that I did. Okay, and I said, a few times because it was interesting enough that all of these partners that have gone sort of wrong, it happened right around about 10 years ago. Can you imagine? The ones that have gone wrong. Now, keep in mind, there's obviously challenges in the business, and there's mistakes that we're going to do, but these are the biggest ones that I have basically made that you can make money or millions on it, all right? Number 9, not knowing your area. Crucial, ladies and gentlemen. I invested in a deal outside of my area. It was in Southern California. One street made the difference and basically kill the deal. Simple as that. And it was interesting to, not knowing the area that you're investing. Invest time getting to know the area before, you even pull the trigger, or get other people, that are extremely great at that specific area, and they can tell you a lot of what to expect and things of that nature. Okay. Mistake number 10. Okay. Number 10, not knowing the way that impacts secondary markets. In other words, not knowing the impact the secondary markets have, in real estate earlier on, in the career. So secondary market is not like the Bay Area. It's not like places in the metro areas where there's a whole bunch of jobs that people need the home for basic necessity, like San Francisco Peninsula, Silicon Valley, East Bay. It is a primary area. People live there because it's a basic necessity to have a roof, below, underneath their heads, and there is the job force there. Okay. Now, secondary markets is not like that. It's maybe a vacation destination. A second home is where people, wants a second home, but they don't need a second home. Usually properties sell, data was telling me that usually properties will sell anywhere from 4 months to 6 months. Guess what? Our home took 1 year and 4 months. Understand that. Okay. That's why the other day when I saw an email, it was an email in a social media, and people were pitching it. Hey, we got a stunning great house, amazing investment in Carmel, by the sea, California. And I'm like, good luck. Now, provided that the price is great, if you're buying it for, 30 cents on the dollar, then obviously, or 40 cents on the dollar, then, maybe waiting 1 year, it's okay. Maybe, having different strategies still makes it work, but it's understanding it. If you use the same formula that I use for a metro area, you use for a secondary market, you're done. You will lose your shirt. Remember what I just said. You use the same formula that I use on a metro area or on a primary market, you use it on a secondary. That's the mistake that I did. I use the understanding, not knowing the impact of a secondary market. I use the formula on my primary market. I used it on my secondary market. Picture that. Amazing, isn't it? You think that because the formula works in this market, it's going to work on this other market. Well, guess what? It didn't. And I'm here to tell you because I see a lot of people out there not paying attention to it, and I want to help them by them not committing the same mistakes so that they can come back and say, Raul, thank you for what you freaking shared, because now we got more money and we want to do some great things together, right? Number 11, mistake number 11, not knowing the impact the rivers and flood zones have in remodeling property. Guess how I know? The same way. When the house is extremely near the river and it's in a flood zone area and you plan to remodel or add square footage, or you plan to do anything with permits, okay? Remember what I just said, anything with permits, then my advice is pay extreme deep attention, okay? Mistake that I have done. Okay, and it doesn't matter if it's in a great location or not. We've done homes in stunning, amazing locations that it's flood, and guess what? It takes obviously extra hoops to jump, extra time, extra design, extra work, extra everything. Just understand that, all right? Not every deal is a good deal. That's what I'm saying, and we just need to pay attention to those things. Number 12 and the last one. Number 12 mistake, feeling that if I got a good deal, someone else is losing. You know that at the beginning of my career, I felt that way. I felt that in every transaction, there was a winner and a loser. And that stopped me from, reaching greatness. That is not true. Because there's people that are in bankruptcy, in probate situation. There are people that, they live like hoarders, that their home, they're embarrassed, that there are people that literally are losing their home. I mean, there's always a reason and a need where they win, and it was probably in my second decade when I personally took a course that allowed me to understand that in life we've been thinking that if I win, you lose, and it's interesting because I learned that there is situations, there is instances where there is win-win. You just gotta find them, and you gotta change the way you're feeling. I changed it today. If I'm getting a good deal, there's no way that the other person is losing or getting a bad deal. And if the other person feels that they're losing, might as well, I won't do the deal, period. It's as simple as that. Why? There's no need. No need, because if that's the way the other person is going to be feeling, might as well not get it done. I don't want no remorse about it. It's really a fact of, if they value that we buy fast, that we can close extremely quick, that we don't have to go through the regular traditional, putting it on the market, doing open homes and things like that. And there's a lot of scenarios, a lot. I've seen people where basically, I'll give you an example. I remember buying this condo where this young couple had already a property, their dream home. Listen to this. It was their freaking dream home. And they already had a buyer for their condo, but fell out of escrow. One, they did it a second time, fell out of escrow as well. And they were about to lose their deposit in the house that they were buying, their dream home, when they call us from one of our signs and said, hey, Raul, if you can close it within 3 to 5 days, make me an offer, let's do a deal. Now, you tell me if that's not winning for them, winning for us, because the need that gentleman or that family had at the time was because they needed it. Otherwise, they were going to lose their shirt because somebody else couldn't perform. See, those stories don't make it to the stream because we always believe that everything is perfect, and it's not. Ladies and gentlemen, I had to change that, because I had to change it, everything changed. Just keep this in mind. When you change, everything changes around you. So wanted to obviously share the 12 real estate mistakes that I have made that can make you millions. And if you really want to continue learning about real estate investing, and if you don't have yet a program, allow me to before I go into questions and answers, allow me to obviously, sell you into something, all right? I want to sell you into how to find freaking awesome real estate deals recording. It was an event that we did. It was a sold out event. We did it a full blown day. It was from 8:30 in the morning all the way like 9 p.m., that we did in San Mateo, California. And you can go to levelupnowacademy.com/FAD, and you're seeing it there on screen. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and copy it, and I'm going to put it on the chat. Okay, so I'm going to put it on chat so that you guys can have it there. And obviously, it's important to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that if you're really serious about you, developing you, because the most important person on earth is you, and you are the only one that can make things happen. Because if you're waiting for things to happen, I can tell you already that nothing great is going to happen, okay? So you either make the things happen as a leader, as the decision maker, and I invite you to, join our, basically real estate Level Up Now Academy, where you can find amazing, stunning deals. It's only, and I don't even know how much does it cost, but when you click there, you'll be able to find it. There's bonuses, that you get. Go ahead and read through it. You get. I remember when I first started, I didn't have a proof of fund. I'm going to give you a $3 million proof of fund, an actual bank statement. You can send me deals to evaluate, but obviously after you evaluate them exactly how I show you that, you should do it. We get to partner up. If once I vet you and you fit the criteria, guess what? Let's do it. You know how I know when partners are, it's not that we won't make any mistakes, but I partner up, with I partner up with Mr. Carlos on a deal that he brought me in Santa Rosa. And he was here maybe a couple days ago. We gave him the report. My accountant team gave him the report. And notice, basically, he says, hey, this is the profits. This is obviously the sharing of the profits. And, we were paying, basically, the profits showed, X amount that was going to, apparently we were paying him more. We were paying him, listen to this, we were paying him more on reimbursing some materials that, it was inputted into the system. And he came back and said, hey guys, I think you guys are overpaying me. It shouldn't be 11,000. It should be actually about 6,900. I don't know how my accounting team missed it, that we ended up paying, obviously, we didn't ended up paying more. He caught it. He says, no, I think you're paying me more. So redid the numbers. Obviously, there was more profit. He could have just kept it and run with it. And to me, that means tremendously a lot, because they caught it. He caught it. He shared it with the team. And guess what? He got corrected, which allowed for, obviously, it allowed for him to feel good. And it allowed me to understand that, I love that my partner was able to be truthful and real with us. Okay, so just in a nutshell. But anyways, if you already got our program, thank you very much. Congratulations. If you need any help, let me know. But if you don't, invest in yourself, because your mind will help you grow, your pocket, if you're willing to invest in your mind. Otherwise, it's going to be a tough one. Thank you very much. Now let's go into questions and answers, if there's any. If there's any, more than happy to answer questions and answers. All right. It seems like everybody, it's on a roll. It seems like, all right. Congratulations. Thank you for connecting at the weekly real estate, talk show with Raul Luna. Get to see you next week. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.